guys, it's me, Ruowen Huang. Before I begin, let me first introduce myself. My name is Ruowen Huang. I'm an author, spirit coach, and also a psychic. In this very particular episode, I want to discuss with you all about why it seems like a lot of mental disabled people, they tend to hear more noises. And to many of you who always ask me, is it true? Are they really hearing the voice or are they simply making it up? In this very particular episode, I'm not saying all the voices are wrong or bad out there, but I'm simply targeted or focusing on those ones that seem to hear voice in the regular basis and therefore cause them insomnia or, hard to go to bed or hard to rest or always in the anxious mode. Like it seems like they are not able to function day to day life and always keep themselves very upbeat, or sometimes as a bystander you will realize they tend to have some bipolar behavior. So only very specifically target to those people. So in here I want to talk about are the voices real? The truth is the voice is probably real, but then it doesn't mean the voice come from somewhere else. For a lot of people, like I realize what they do is they tend to have long-term habit of suppress their own feeling or suppress their emotion. So when in reality something bigger happen that trigger it, or it's basically make them feel very overwhelmed or etc. And such kind of voice would then become the real voice. That is, throughout the years, since they have a habit of suppressing it, and then eventually they start to identify this voice as a third party. So even though the voice come from within themselves, but because it long time denying its existence, it then become a third party. So to them, it's as real as a third party talking to them as to you and me, whether we have illusion or not. So those kind of voice will continuously, aggravate them or provoke them or tell them to do something like normally doesn't make sense. For the people who we are surrounded by, those people, we would think, oh, are they okay? Is everything okay? I mean, they don't behave the way they used to be, etc. So why now we're talking about things before it seems everything's normal, they don't seem to hear any voices. How come all of a sudden it becomes so stand out and all of a sudden they can hear everything else? That have a lot to do with their soul slowly detached from their body. You have to know one thing to begin with. When one person does not have adequate sleep for a long time, their soul will eventually start to create that gap from their body. That means their soul and their body is not fully connect with one another, and then you start creating that gap. That gap based on how the frequency of vibration is. If their soul feel insecure in a way, then that vibration will somehow become faster and more anxiety type of way, and therefore they tend to be open. It's like an open channel to receive all frequency that is similar to that channel. So therefore, not only they will hear their own insecurity, they most likely will always hear a lot of different voices as well. So, based on you don't have enough sleep, it's very easy for one to feel very confused. Like, I don't know what's going on. I feel like constantly people talking to me. And a lot of time, if they do have fear to begin with, they would tend to be very scared of lost voice or whatever the voice tell them to do. So, what I'm here to say is a very simple concept. Once your soul start to create detachment from your body, that means you don't have good sleep, you not rest well, or your mental is dealing with some kind of trauma, you don't know how to cope with it. All those kind of things can create some kind of gap in between. So once this gap is creating, then you allow all kind of voices or the spirits or something similar frequency or even energy, for example, will be able to channel in between this gap. So in this case, instead of, I would say usually people or patient itself become very hypersensitive. So they will be sensitive not only to themselves, they will be sensitive to their internal voice they've been continuously neglecting. They will also be very sensitive with their surrounding. That is, maybe the way you look at them, your behavior, or the word you choose to use around them. All those kind of things, if it happen to activate or trigger their insecurity, they will become like hyper alert, like, oh my God, that's what you meant, right? Like, or they will overanalyze what you say. So remember, whatever they analyze, it may or may not be true. I mean, of course, you would say, I did not mean that. But what it would be true to them is it triggered their insecurity. Therefore, they become, hypersensitive to a certain thing. So a lot of times people don't know what they can do with that, or where they're obviously crazy, they're talking to the air, they're emotionally bipolar or things like that. If you understand what I have mentioned earlier before, it's because your soul and your body create the gap. Therefore, you will start receiving all those messages. The way for you to deal with those messages is not to follow everything they say. No, that unlikely will make you feel better. From my observation throughout the years, it will only make the symptom worsen. So the best way to do is, if you understand you have been under stress, or if you not understand you're under stress, it's not to follow whatever the voice telling you to do. Sure enough, that voice will come as, at the beginning seems to help you, but eventually somewhere in between start turning face or changing its nature, start threatening you, telling you have to follow everything I do. In this case, I would say instead of following everything the noise tell you to do, the best way to do is not to listen to any of them. Because you have to understand one basic foundation. My body or my soul must not have enough sleep or not really connected one another for me to actually receive all those noise right now. So really the best way you could do is eat well and then sleep well. Sleep, trust me, is very important. This is the time I usually recommend my client, either they should consult their doctor, like they have not sleep for a while, or figure out a way to really relax their mind and don't think too much about it. So, I get it a lot of time. Believe it or not, a lot of time my clients got a problem just simply because they don't want people to know they have a problem. So they would rather try to figure things out at themselves, like at home by themselves. But that's really not the best way. The best way you can do, a lot of you guys, I get it, you don't trust medicine and all that, but what you really need to do is you need to know you need a good sleep. No matter how you can make yourself to have a good sleep, you will do that. So that including if you need to talk to the professional and prescribe some sleeping pill for you to have a good sleep. Many of you do not know how long would you consider good sleep. This is a reference for you. If you have a minor symptom, I would say 3 days consecutive sleep, that each sleep is more than 8 hours is adequate enough. But if your symptoms seems to get worse, I will say you will need at least 5 days of 8 hours sleep for your mind to slowly come together. That doesn't mean that you will get better after 5 days of sleep, but that only means you were able to slowly reconnect your soul and the body together. Then you will be able to comprehend things. You'll be able to understand things. Otherwise, for a long period of time, you will not be able to understand what people say, or you have no control of your own emotion for the most part of it. So I will suggest many of you, whether you are the person who struggled through it or suffered through it, or the people who are surrounded by it, that maybe your loved one are struggling through this, I will say the very first thing is, if they continue giving a lot of information, I would say for you, example, if you are suffering through it, instead of taking every message and take it as true, this is solely true, I have to follow, I will say, if you worry about it, you can write it down, but most of the time I say don't worry about whatever message you receive, because unlikely you are in the best position to receive any message anyway. Then work with the people, your loved one, to get yourself some sleep. Your goal is not taking sleeping pill forever, but your goal is try to at least give yourself 3 days to 5 days of good sleep, so your mind can slowly connected to one another and then slowly comprehend things or even do a simple task as possible. And meanwhile, if you want to do everything to really benefit your body, there's a lot of things you can do. You can exercise too. You can eat healthy, since it's unlikely you will be able to taste food anyway. That's what happens since your soul and body are too, parted. So, choose healthy food, whether you like it or not like it. As I say, unlikely you will taste it. So all those things are things that you can slowly bring yourself together. But instead of, try to focus or analyze way too much of the message you are receiving, I would say it will most likely turn you the wrong way and make you even more anxious or anxious or don't know what to do or get worse anyway. So anyway, in this very particular episode, I just want to share with you all, if I know it's hard thing. I mean, it's not easy for everybody. A lot of time when people are in this situation, they tend to panic and they don't know what to do. What I'm really here to share with you guys, you don't have to panic and you don't have to freak out thinking, oh my God, I'm crazy for life. You don't have to. So the best way for you to do is keep everything simple, focusing on something that's easy for you. Don't try to take care of everything all at once. That could be very overwhelmed as well, and then somehow get you more departed from your body, detached from your body. So the best way to do is to eat well, exercise, and sleep. And other than this, don't worry about other people's well-being. Don't worry about your own well-being. Don't worry about everything else. Try to take care of everything. I will truly believe you will slowly guide yourself back to a normal path. Then you will realize all those noise that you seem to receive in daily basis, they will also reduce as well. So anyway, in this particular episode, just hope it will share with you all and then give you a little bit tips what to do when you are dealing with a situation like that. Again, if you like what I'm doing, you can continue support me on the YouTube membership. Hopefully I'll keep sharing. So till then, next time. Bye now.